Welcome to Renewed and Radiant Podcast. This is where we have the real and raw conversations. So if you're ready to rise into the woman you were created to be, you're in the right place. And together we can design a life you love. Ladies, you're going to like this one. I'm so excited for it. Because today I have Cristie Cerniglia with me. She is a ridiculously happy wife after 31 years of marriage. She's a proud mama of 4, Kiki to 3 amazing grandkids, and lives in Lexington, Kentucky. As an independent relationship coach for the past 2 years, Cristie is passionate about helping women rewind their relationship back to fun and romance of dating. Yes, who's not for that? Whether or not their husband is on board or not, which is also important. I love that you do that, Cristie. So through her coaching at Relationships with a Map, she helps women find the marriage they always wanted with the man that they already have. Yeah. And Cristie is an author as well. Is that right, Cristie?
Well, I have written a workbook that goes along with my 12-week program.
Awesome. Welcome, Cristie. I am so happy to have you here today. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what I can glean from it and what all of our listeners can glean from it too. So, Cristie, I just really like that the real and raw conversation. I feel like there's probably something where you started, what's gotten you to where you are today. So can you please share a bit of your story with us?
Yeah, thank you, Elsa. It's so good to be here, and I appreciate you inviting me. Well, my story started back when I was 17 years old. My own parents had a breakdown in their marriage, a very sudden breakdown, and divorced when I was a senior in high school. And it was terrible, just awful, because I was old enough that everybody thought they could share stuff with me, things that I did not want to know. And so I don't recommend divorce, 0 stars, thumbs down. So I've been passionate about marriage and family ever since then. And it started off coming from a place of, I'm never going to get married, because that fear was in me that after 20 years or so, he's going to run off with somebody else and leave me high and dry. That's what I saw. And so when I told my parents that I was going to get married to my husband, they were like, what? It was very shocking, because I had told everybody, no, I'm going to college. I'm going to make $1 million, and I'm not going to get married, because I don't need that kind of heartache in my life. Right. But when I met my husband, of course, everything changed. And I did start off with quite a bit of fear in that area. But luckily, the Lord got a hold of me, and he asked me to trust him rather than trusting my husband. And so I was able to do that. And so I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, my husband and I were going through a rocky time. We've been married 31 years now. So this is, 27-ish maybe. And we were going through a rocky time. And I've always been reading books about marriage, and we would go to conferences. We've done a lot of work to be the best we could be together. But I was not finding a resource that was scratching my itch at that time. And so I came across a woman named Laura Doyle, who wrote a New York Times best-selling book called The Empowered Wife. And when I read that book, I said, oh my goodness, she's reading my mail, right? And she taught about 6 intimacy skills. And when I read those, I thought, this is the answer for me. I started to practice the skills right away, the best I could based on the book. And I saw results. I saw a difference in the way my husband was responding to me. And so I did some more digging online, and I found out that she actually had a coaching program as well. And I knew that I needed some hands-on, one-on-one help to really dig into the deeper parts. So I got involved with a coach. And boy, after that first phone call, I thought, I want to do what she's doing. I loved it so much. So I jumped into the coaching program right after that, and I haven't looked back since. It has been so good for me, not only in my marriage, but it is relationship coaching. So I use these skills with my mom, with my brother, with my kids, and I've just seen amazing results in my relationships, but then also just in my own happiness, which we know is priceless.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that you recognized what you needed and you reached out and you dug until you found a resource that you could use and apply to yourself. But then isn't it true? So often we know, no matter what area it is of life, we know a lot of times what we need to do. Having that coach and the accountability and the support and just encouragement to take the next step and the accountability to take the next step is just so valuable. Yeah.
Yes,
And now
somebody
and
from
now
the
that's
outside who's not emotionally involved in what you're going through, that can speak the truth in love and that can see our blind spots. And I'm sure that's what you do for the women you coach too, is help them to recognize the things that they are so used to that they begin to ignore.
yes, you're so right. Exactly. And I think things that we don't even think about. And we do it in all different areas, relationships, with our health, different things. Like you said, it just sort of becomes autopilot and we do these things or we have these patterns. And until someone's there to say, hold up a second here, let's take a look at this. What could we be doing differently? I love
Yeah.
that. So you mentioned this was about 4 years ago for you. And I feel like I've been married now 34 years almost. And I feel like when I look back, I would say, yeah, I think probably, about 6 years ago or so. So is that typical? Like around the 26, 27 year mark where you kind of start to go, I need some help here.
I'll tell you, I do think there are different milestones throughout a marriage that can be tricky for people. And I think that it a lot of times matches with big life changes, right? So when you start having babies, right, and you add that first baby, I think that's a difficult time, right? It's a big life change, it's a big shift. And I think probably for you and I, maybe it comes around that empty nest kind of a thing where we've been so involved with our kids and so revolving around them, and the relationship becomes very practical and very logistical, like who's going to take this one where, and maybe the romance kind of quiets down for a little while. So when the kids start to leave the home, I think we look around and go, hey, do I know what to do with him? Do I still like him? Do I still want to do this? And how are we going to get that connection back that maybe has died down over the years?
You're so right. There is so many times I will say to my husband, like literally just a couple days ago, I was like, thank God we still like each other because we spend a lot of time together. It's just like, and not that we don't still like our space because we do, but I'm very thankful that we do still like each other at this point. Okay, Coach Cristie, I'm loving this. So tell us, what can we do for the people listening that are like, yeah, I'm there. I know what you're talking about. I'm really feeling that.
Big skills that I teach is about respect. And we were talking about blind spots before, and boy, was I blind when it came to respect. I knew that men needed respect, and I thought that I was a respectful wife. And it wasn't until I began to intentionally look at my marriage and at my behavior and at my words, my attitude, my body language, and working with a coach that I realized I had a lot of blind spots in that area. And so I say it all the time, my face got me in a lot of trouble from time to time because I have a very expressive face. And my husband would say to me, why are you looking at me like that? And I would say, like what? And he would say, like I'm an idiot, and I did not know that. But I have to admit, a lot of times I was thinking that, right? And it was
Yeah,
showing up on my face.
that's
And
the
so,
worst.
yeah. And I did a lot of other things that I didn't realize. Like my husband owns a roofing company. And so he would come home from work and talk to me about the day. Well, I got to tell you, Elsa, believe it or not, I've never run a roofing company. But you would have thought that I was an expert because I had an opinion about everything. And so he would tell me about something that happened at work, and I would have all kinds of helpful advice. Well, why didn't you do this? Why'd you say that? Why'd you handle it like this? You should have da 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 da, right? He didn't appreciate that. That didn't create emotional safety that connects us. That created like avoidance, like, ugh, stay away from her. She's not safe. She
Mhm.
doesn't believe in me. She doesn't agree with me. She doesn't think that I have this under control. I didn't realize that. I thought I was being helpful because I think that I'm better interpersonally, right, than my husband. And so I gave all this advice and everything. And when I started to learn about, I realized that, first of all, I didn't have to say anything, that
Mhm.
him running his business was on his paper and I could leave it to him. And he wasn't coming to me for me to solve his problems or help him. He really just wanted support and a good listener. So I began to learn how to listen and say, I hear you. Yeah, that sounds difficult, and just be that really active listener. And then, you know what I would say at the end? I would say, wow, I know you've got all of this under control. You've been running this business successfully for 20 years. So there's not a doubt in my mind that you know exactly how to handle this.
Wow,
And
what a
yeah,
difference.
yeah, that was respect. I was like, that's it. And guess what happened? Guess what happened, Elsa? He has been more successful in these last 2 years than he's ever been throughout our whole marriage. I have the power of influence and I have the power to build him up and give him a confidence that can't come from anywhere else. And when he leaves this house and goes out into the world with that level of confidence and belief in himself and knowing that I believe in him that way, sky's the limit, man. He soars.
That is amazing, amazing. And I feel like so many women, if we know it, because I would say I know that up here, but I think I've forgotten it over the years, right? If we recognize, yes, like the power that we have to be an encourager and a support. And I have to say, I feel like I've in so many relationships that have broken down, a lot of times that's the case, is that where we just kind of get in that funk. And it's almost like, and you hear couples, and it just kind of breaks my heart sometimes when I hear couples, interact with each other, and you can tell that he's looking for that from her, and she's just like, you know what, why didn't you do it this way? And guilty, like, I'm certainly not judging, because I've been there for sure. But it's like you see that, and it's so true. And I feel like that's a big factor. You tell me, you're the expert in this, but a big factor in divorce or in like disconnection with couples.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. And you're not alone. And I've been there. And that's the beautiful thing about coaching is that I'm able to take my personal experience and my own story of using these skills and actually give real life examples of the ways that I was messing up before. And now I know a different way. And so this coaching is not about people just coming and pouring out their heart to me and me saying, oh, that's interesting. No, no, we get in and talk about action. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to say? What do you not like about what you did? How are we going to clean that up? Right? Take accountability. I learned how to apologize after 25 years of marriage. I was not good at apologizing. And I think that it was pride that was in my way. But I began to take accountability and I began to recognize the times that I was disrespectful or I was controlling. And I would go back and say, please forgive me for being disrespectful when I said this and I should have handled it this way. I think my husband nearly laid out on the floor the first time. But you talk about connection, right? All of us want this beautiful connection with our spouse. And many times we've done things unknowingly that have separated us from that connection. So I help women know what to do to come back together. And it is about the most rewarding thing that I've ever done with my time.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it's just amazing. Like, well, I'm already getting so much from this. I feel like my husband's, Kevin's just going to be so happy that we recorded this, because he's going to be like, "Wow, sign up with her. Let's get going." Yeah. Oh, I love that. So good, and so simple. It really
Yeah.
is.
It's
Thank you.
simple, but a lot of times it's not easy. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
because our flesh is moving in one direction and our old patterns are strong, right? We have been reacting and responding the same way for all these years. And all of a sudden we come in and say, no, I'm going to try it this way. Like everything in us kind of bucks up against that. And we really have to say, no, I don't want to go where I've been going. I want to go toward this new vision of this beautiful, peaceful, passionate, playful marriage. And in order to get there, I'm going to have to do some things differently than I've done them in the past. And I'm willing to experiment with some new ways of being as a woman. And that's why all of my clients are so brave and they're so motivated. And I love that. And so I have women that come to me that are in crisis. Their husband maybe is having an affair. Maybe he's already moved out and separated, all the way through the spectrum to the woman here who's happy. She's generally happy, but she knows it can be better than it is. So, and that and everything in between. And so there's a big variety, but I tell you what, the skills work. And no matter what these women, no matter what their husbands decide to do, they really learn how to be the best version of themselves and how to be happy whether he changes or not. And that's rewarding.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, so much to unpack right there, I feel like. But because yes, it affects every relationship. So yes, if it's going to work out and you're just moving forward with your marriage, which hopefully that's what happens, but either way, like you said, it affects every relationship. And you're becoming your best version of yourself no matter what anybody else does in response.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so
And
powerful.
one of the other skills that I teach also that really kind of goes with what you do is the importance of self-care. People have different ideas that come up in their mind when I say the word self-care. So let me tell you what I mean. What I mean is, as women, we sometimes let ourselves go and we take care of everybody else. We don't really take care of ourselves. And so you think about when you're on the airplane, right? And the flight attendants tell you to make sure you put on your own oxygen mask before you try to help people around you. Because if we are not healthy and happy, then it's going to impact the people around us, right? And so if you were to ask my family today, would you guys rather your mom be happy and in a great mood, or would you rather the kitchen be spotless? Do you know what they would say? They would
Yes.
say, we want mama happy. Because when mom is happy, everybody's happy, right? And
Yeah.
so in the old days, I did the dishes because that kitchen could not be dirty. And I was a little bit crazy about it, right? Now I look at the kitchen and I go, guess what? That'll be here in an hour. What I really need right now is a walk with a podcast, or what I really need right now is a hot bath, or what I really need right now is a call with one of my girlfriends. You know what I mean? And I do things to take care of myself. I do things that make me happy so that I can show up happy and glass full rather than glass empty for the people around me. And man, they want me happy.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because it affects everything. And it affects your relationship with yourself, but it affects everybody around us. And especially as the wives and moms, we set the atmosphere, the tone of the home.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so
Yes,
good.
we do. And yeah, and I used to and one of the other skills that I teach is relinquishing control. And so I used to do this thing where we would use my car on the weekends, right? We'd run to practices and games and church and all the places. And by the end of the weekend, my car would be trashed. Anybody relate to that?
Yeah.
And I don't like my car trashed. I like my car neat, right? So we would be coming home from church and I would give a motivational speech, right? And it would sound something like this: you guys better get all your junk out of my car. I'm sick of you all trashing my car, blah, 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 right? And no one was motivated. I don't understand it. They all just scattered, right? It was like, oh, mom's in a mood, run for your life, right? And nothing got done with the car. And so when I found these skills, and I learned about relinquishing control, and I also learned about expressing my desires in a way that inspires instead of complaining. And so one day I decided to try it. And I said to my husband, I would love a clean car. That's all I said. And do you know what he said? Well, I'll take it and get it clean today. What? Like, that's all it takes, right? Oh my gosh, who knew? Why didn't somebody tell me sooner? So he took it. He took it to the car wash. He got it cleaned. He got it vacuumed, everything. Well, do you know what I did when he got home? I messed up again. I went out there and I went out there to shower him with gratitude, right? But I messed up. I opened up the door and I saw there was still some yuck in the floorboard. And so I picked it out, right? And then there was some stuff on the, and I wiped it off, right? And I look up at my husband and he's looking at me like, are you serious right now? I did exactly what you asked and you're still not happy. I was like, I messed up again. I said, I'm so sorry. Close the door. Thank you so much for taking my car to get cleaned. I really appreciate it. And I learned that day that I thought I was being critical of the men at the car wash,
Mhm.
but my husband felt that I was being critical to him, and he felt that I was ungrateful, and he felt that I was disrespectful, you know? And so I learned, yeah, not to do that and to show up with the gratitude that he had done what I asked him. And if there's some little nitpicky things that I need to clean later, I'll just do it when he's not around, because I want to be the kind of wife that's easy to please instead of the picky one.
I love that. It's such a default, isn't it? We're more alike than I realized, Cristie. I like everything you're saying, like done it, done it, done it. Because I think that when we have high expectations of ourselves, or maybe, I work a lot with high achieving women. And so we do that, right? We have high expectations of ourselves as high achieving women. So then we push that onto other people or project that onto
Yes.
other people. And it comes across in a negative way, like you just said. And I love that also, what you're saying about reprogramming and shifting those patterns. And same thing, like with ladies that I work with, because the programming is from so many years back. And a lot of times it's from our parents or, other people that we've had in our lives, whether it's relationships or whether it's with their health and their food, that kind of thing. It's so easy for us to default back to that. And there's so much power in having a coach that says, let's just do this one little shift. And like you said, I always say that. I always tell my ladies, this is very simple. It's not always easy, but it's very simple,
Yes.
actually. Yeah. And so
Yes.
just to have a coach to help, sometimes we need that. We need that reprogramming because we tend to just default. And yeah, so much power in that. I love what you do.
Yes, thank you. It's a little bit like learning a new language.
Mm,
And if we don't continue to use it, we lose it, right? So women will come and they'll take a class from me or something and they'll go, "Oh, that's great ideas. I'm going to do that." But it falls away very easily if you don't commit it to memory and really make it habitual. And that's probably how it is for you too with healthy eating and exercise routines. People really have to get into the groove before it sticks.
yes. Yeah, you're so right. It takes practice. It really does. Yeah. That's amazing. I love this. Okay, so far my takeaways are this is fun, and I can tell your coaching is super fun and just engaging and not frustrating or depressing or I can tell you make it fun. Obviously you have an amazing vibrant personality. I love that. But thinking about respect and how we're talking and what we're saying, and so much power in that as a wife of giving that respect. So true, because we actually have the control of how our husbands feel when he leaves the house and what he's coming home to. He knows what he's coming home to. And so is he dreading
Yes.
that, or is he looking forward to what you're going to speak into him? And I love that you
Yeah.
said how he's been even more successful now since you've made that shift. It's literally just your words. Yeah, love that. So self-care, taking care of yourself. And it's true. Many of us have been guilty. We have the babies, we, gain the extra weight, or we just kind of let ourselves go. And sometimes that's just out of necessity, but it's not about our size. It's about how we care about ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. It affects everything. And then relinquishing control. Ouch. But it's true.
Yeah,
Say,
I have so much more joy now that I'm able to relinquish control and leave things on other people's papers, because my kids are older now. So my youngest is 16. So even he is able to carry a lot of his own responsibility, right? But my girls are older and I don't carry their weight. I don't carry the weight of my husband. When my husband says that he's going to do something, I leave it to him on his paper. So my paper feels so much lighter than it did before and so much more fun. And I get to
hmm,
create whatever I want on my paper because those are my decisions. I get to choose my mood and my words and my thoughts and my actions and my activities, right? And my husband gets to choose his. And so a lot of times, I think as women, we get caught up in our husband's paper and there's no power over there, right? Because we don't get to choose his mood and his thoughts and his words and his opinions. So the more I stay on my paper, the happier I am and the more empowered I feel.
absolutely. That is so true. And I love that way of thinking about it, our own paper. Do you use that in your coaching?
I do. Do you remember in school when the teacher would say, Keep your eyes on your own paper.
Yes.
And I think about that, right? Because when I get my eyes even on your paper, I'm going to be frustrated because you're not going to do things the way I think you should, right? So that has helped me with family members and friends too. They get to be the expert on their paper, and I get to love and accept them right where they are. Because guess what? They will also have to live with the consequences of those choices and decisions, and I don't have to. So I can leave them with that, and I can make the decisions that are right for me, which they may not agree with, but it's okay because we're both grown-ups.
Yes, exactly. And it's so freeing, isn't it?
So freeing.
Yeah. Oh,
I can't tell
that is
you
great.
the amount of stress I have felt because I was worried about someone else's paper.
Yeah, right?
Now I'm able to let it go and say, oh, good, that's not on my paper. I can leave that to them, and they are the expert on their life.
I'm going to use that from now on. I feel so equipped already. It's been like 20 minutes. I feel so equipped. This is amazing.
That's awesome. That's
Yes.
it is. It's a new way of thinking, but it really brings a lot of peace and joy to think that way rather than be entangled in someone else's mess.
Yes. I can tell you're an amazing coach. Just the illustrations you use and how you've been there. So, I always say, you need to have a coach that's been through what you're experiencing because you don't quite get it. You haven't been through it yourself. So I always feel
Yeah.
that that's really important to have a coach that's done what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've done all the things wrong. I understand all the mistakes. And my husband stayed through all of it. Isn't he wonderful? He just deserves a prize of some kind.
At least we can recognize that. And now you can laugh about it. So this is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know
Awesome.
what? And he is a mere mortal man too, right? He has mistakes and he has flaws and sin in his life like all of our husbands do and like we do. And so I have learned to be so much more like forgiving and grace-filled with him because I'm seeing my own stuff clearly now. Right. It's never a one-way street. It's always two. But as women, we're so powerful to make the changes because my husband has never had a coach. He doesn't read books about marriage. Like he didn't do this. I did this. And guess what? When I showed up different, he responded differently. So he didn't have to read a book or do anything. And I was willing to go first because I had spent so many years trying to change him because I thought he was the problem, and he never changed. And I got so frustrated that I finally took things into my own hands, and it was the best thing I ever did. Somebody has to go first, and we are the ones who usually carry the relationship. And so I went first, but guess what? He met me. He met me, and things changed, and it's beautiful.
Amazing. It reminds me of that saying, but that people will rise up to our expectations of them. I share this often in our group coaching calls, how story of how I literally changed my husband. And I was so frustrated with him for a while, for, a few months, and just like, it was almost getting to the point where it was like everything was annoying me and I was just annoyed by him and frustrated. And I was like, oh, this is so frustrating. And then one day the scripture came up to me about whatever is lovely, whatever is true, whatever is, praiseworthy, all of that, think on these things. And so I'm a big sticky note fan. So I wrote it out. I put it on my fridge on the side where he wouldn't necessarily notice it, but I would see it often. And so I started trying to just apply that a bit. I thought, I'd ask myself, is this praiseworthy or is this an excellent thought? And started to, do
Yes.
that. Well, Cristie, it was only like 2 weeks and my husband completely changed. But I'm like, it wasn't him that changed. It was my
Yeah.
attitude and my thoughts. And then you realize, whoops. Okay, I guess it wasn't. It wasn't so much him after all. It was me and my attitude and my thoughts.
It was your outlook, right? The way you chose to look for the things that were good. And our brains, I just really think that our brains are naturally programmed to find the negative, and it's so easy to find the problem. And we have to intentionally point our brains toward looking for the good and the blessing. And when we do, everything shifts.
And that's,
Yeah,
I feel
great
like, where the
job. I'm impressed that you did that all on your own. Well, with the Lord's help, right?
Exactly. I mean, I was like 50 years old. It was like time, you know. It was time that I'd figured that out. But that's where a coach comes in, because it's easy to default back to that all the time, right? And it's not, we don't always think about that of, oh, okay, I need to make that shift and apply it. So to have someone like you is so helpful. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I love
Amazing.
it. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so Cristie, I'm going to ask you to share what is one practical step that someone that's listening, I feel like every one of us can relate to this in some degree.
Yeah.
So, a practical step that you would say, where could she start? Like right now, what is something she could do to start to move in the direction she desires to?
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to challenge your ladies to a smile campaign. Okay. And
Oh,
that just means that every time you see your husband, you smile. Every time for no reason at all. And you know that when we do the act, we start to feel the feelings. And also, the goal is that you and I would be so happy and so full that we would magnetize our husbands to us, that we would draw them to us. And a smile is going to work toward that magnetism. So I challenge the ladies for the next 30 days to go on a smile campaign. And listen, you can use it with more than just your husband, but especially with your husband. I want you to smile at him every chance you get.
I love this. This is great. I do live Zoom workouts with my ladies, and I tell them often, it's everything is better when you smile. So I encourage them to smile in the workouts, because everything feels a bit better when you smile. So that's right
Yeah.
there. That's, oh, and he's going to be like, oh, what's going on? Like, he's going to like it.
Huh? Huh?
That's,
Yeah.
oh,
That's great.
this is just so good. Thank you for this. Okay, I love that challenge. So easy to do, and I feel like it's going to be very so simple to do, and I feel like it's going to be very impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, Cristie, where can people find you if they would like to reach out to you about your coaching, follow you? Where's all the channels where people can get in contact with you?
Yeah, my coaching business is called Relationships with a Map. And so they can find me on Facebook and Instagram, or on just at my website, relationshipswithamap.com. And on Facebook, I have a private group for women that's called Save My Marriage Relationships with a Map. And that's the best place to kind of come in and get to know me and what I teach if you didn't get enough today, and find out what's happening and how you can move forward if you think coaching might be a fit. Yeah.
Okay, love that. That is excellent. Absolutely. I'm going to that site for sure. This has been so great. Okay, Cristie. So I like to finish with just a few rapid fire questions, just for fun, help people get to know you a little bit better. You ready for this?
Hmm.
Okay.
I think so.
Favorite healthy food?
I'm going to say sweet potatoes.
Okay, nice. Do you have a special way that you like to do them?
Yeah, I just chop them in half and bake them in oil on the pan.
So
Nobody
good.
likes them but me, so I just make them for me.
Delicious. Okay, favorite place you've ever traveled?
Costa Rica. It was
Mm,
so beautiful there, and it's like wildlife and fun activities, four-wheelers, ocean, it's everything. I loved it.
yeah, I've been there too. It is amazing, isn't it? Just the culture. The people are so warm and friendly. Okay, and last one. What is something that may surprise us to know about you?
Mm. I am um I'm a night owl. I like to be I still think I'm in college, like living in the dorm. I like to stay up late, and then in the morning I just want to snooze. So yeah, I'm a night person, not a morning person.
That does surprise me, actually. That is one way that
Yeah.
we are different. That's great. I love this. This has been incredible. Thank you for taking the time to do this and just adding so much value. This has been awesome. And I know so many ladies that are going to be helped by this. And even myself, I've learned so much. This has been great.
Good. I hope so. I hope that women are inspired and believe and hope again in their marriage, that it can thrive. You know, I don't think that we're supposed to just survive and stay married for 100 years and like I did it. You know, I think we are supposed to thrive and enjoy our life. And that's my goal, is to help women really enjoy the man that they married.
What an amazing goal. This is so good. Yay. Okay. Thank you so much, Cristie. Thank you for being here today. This has been awesome.
You're so welcome.
Thank you for tuning in today. If this episode spoke to you even in the smallest way, would you do me a quick favor? Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Leave a like or a review because it truly helps the message reach more women who need it. And if someone came to mind while you were listening, share this episode with her. You never know. Your share might be the spark that changes her entire season. I'm grateful you're here, walking this journey of renewal and radiance with me. And until next time, keep choosing to design a life you love.